everyone. Welcome to another edition of Cal U Connections. I'm your host, Gary Smith, and welcome to everyone watching this on YouTube, on CUTV Sports 1, and hope that everyone is well. And in this series, we've been trying to talk to people around the world, around campus, and just basically trying to take the larger world and bring everyone into the Cal U community and make sure that everyone's doing well, and also to let people know what wonderful things people are doing here at Cal U. And we have a fun show today, kind of a special show. We have two different segments. We're pressing the technology today, but we're going to talk about recreation, fun stuff. And I'm going to bring on for our first segment, Director of Recreational Services, and there's going to be a lot of other words at the end of his title, Mr. Jameson Rothman. We'll start with you, Jameson. Welcome, and it's good to see you. We had some internet connection problems, but first of all, how are you doing?
Hey Gary, it's great to be here. Glad to talk about recreational services, get some fun stuff going for these students. We're all at home surviving, and looking forward to getting back on campus.
And our second guest in what we've saying is the best internet on earth right now in Ridgeville, PA, Mr. Terry Carnathan. Terry, thanks for joining us today. And what's the secret to the internet there? You're actually coming in at like 4K, 8K quality here, so.
I know some people in high places. What can I say?
Well, we're gonna need to talk after the show because the internet in Hiller, it's a little slow. It's not the greatest, but as you can tell, we all have smiles on our faces. A, because this is a fun topic, and B, we're talking to other people. We're not just emailing or anything like that. We're actually communicating. But first, before we get into the talk about how we're getting through this this little delay in our lives, let's talk about first, Jameson. What are a lot of the things that you do with recreational services?
So thanks, Gary. I've been around almost as long as you. I've been a student since 2002 and started working for the university in 2008 as the director of sports clubs. And now being the director of rec services, a little bit more on my plate, but overseeing the rec center and then working with Tom and Terry on group fitness, sports clubs, outdoor rec, a lot of different things, intramurals. I focus on the sports clubs, and we've got 14 of them. I know a lot of them were disappointed at the end of the semester not being able to finish out. We had a lot of successful stories coming this year. A couple groups looking to go to nationals, actually, that were postponed and canceled. So they're looking to get back at it in the fall. But, yeah, really, overall, overseeing the department, focusing on the sports clubs, and hopefully providing an environment for all of our members and our students to use the facility.
And I know, speaking with the sport clubs, I know we follow along a lot with CUTV, and it's just amazing and wonderful the opportunities the students to get to do here at Cal U. And let's back up a little bit because we kind of put the end of the story first. Like, you're a longtime member of the Cal U community. Let's just talk a little bit about how you got from little Jameson through your college career and how you ended up here at Cal U working professionally.
So I actually transferred into Cal my first year of college back in spring of '02. I transferred from Northern Michigan University, and I'm a graduate in 4.6 in 2008. So I ended up with 3 pieces of paper from the university. So following my graduation in August of '08 with my master's in business, I accepted a position in November of '08 working in rec services. So I've been around a while. And I've seen a lot of transformations on campus. Certainly the biggest thing, I think, was the $10 million renovation in 2009 to Heron Hall. And it was nice to see what the building was before and then what it is today.
Oh, that building is night and day, and we can talk about that a little bit more, but we're not going to let Terry off the hook yet. We're actually going to do it in more of a chronological order. Terry, if you want to tell the people at home how you got from, we'll call it little Terry, to professional Terry. Well, how's your journey been to Cal U?
Similar path to Jameson. I came there as an undergraduate, liked it so much, decided to come back for another degree, and I received my master's. Worked briefly at the university for a while and left for some opportunities. And I came back in the role I'm currently in with recreational services. So there I have an opportunity to oversee group fitness classes, the common wall, outdoor recreation. We have some fun projects we work on here and there as well.
And I think it's important for people to know that, rec services has changed. It's always evolving. And I think you guys and your staff do a great job of, seeing what the need is now and where the trends are going. Because I remember back in the days when I was in school, rec services, there was a gym, there was a pool, but it didn't seem like there was I wouldn't say a lot of organization, but it just seems like it's bloomed to so much in the past 20 years. James, could you speak a little bit about some of the changes you've seen just from a student to now? Because the services you guys provide are just outstanding.
Yeah, Gary, I think back, when I came to school in 2002, the department was two people. It was Chuck Bond and Janet Woods. And we transformed into three professionals now. And we all handle different areas, but we can now focus our attention on different things. I think the biggest thing, and Terry's going to talk more about this, is our outdoor recreation program coming back, and it's thriving. We're using the natural landscape that our college sits in along the river, but we're doing a lot of different things for students. And I think that's the biggest thing right now that I see is the building renovation and bringing back some programs like outdoor rec.
And Terry, that's a great place to jump off the outdoor rec part of it because, California is situated in a great, beautiful corner of southwestern Pennsylvania, the Mon Valley, and we're kind of spoiled with the topography we have in the water. So if you want to talk a little bit about some of the outdoor rec services that you guys have been able to bring back.
Yeah, we've really been lucky to take advantage of some of the natural resources we have around us. In addition to partnering not just with the local communities and vendors, but also partnerships on campus with some of the academic departments and helping grow this. Some of the more popular ones continue to be kayaking. That's always popular. We have that anywhere from about 4 to 6 times in a year, not including welcome weekend necessarily or family day. Skydiving, although we've done it once, that is usually the most requested one. When is that coming back? That sort of thing. We've done hikes up at the Laurel Ridge State Park, biking, fishing, ice skating is very popular for us. And the students are really open to trying new things and expanding their comfort zone a bit. So it's a lot of fun for them. It's a lot of fun for me as well because it usually means I don't have to sit behind a desk that day. So I'm really excited to be a part of it and to help in any way I can.
And I think what you just said there is helping the students expand past their comfort zone because, I think recreation services, what you guys do, it serves two things. One, it gives students something to do to stay healthy, to maintain a healthy lifestyle and have some fun. But also, there might be some students that grew up in an area where there was no kayaking available or no rock climbing available. Jameson, have you noticed just some of the growth in some of the students that, somebody might come in and say, I've never climbed on a rock wall before, and then a couple years later, you have to kick them out of the rock climbing area?
Well, I think going back to when I started in 2008, I oversaw the rock wall. And I think our motto then was, no matter who you are, your athletic ability, we can get you to the top. So we were providing experiences, having people overcome their fears, and using those as team building exercises as well for teams and groups. A floor in the residence hall would come, and they'd learn a lot about each other using different things like the climbing wall.
And we keep saying the climbing wall and things of that nature. It might be a good idea to kind of back up a little bit because if there are some alumni watching this that may not have been to campus in a while, just explain briefly the renovation that took place because if you left campus in the mid to late 90s and then have not been back and, you remember what Heron Hall was back then to what it is now, I mean, it is palatial.
Yeah, I mean, if you took the facility, we essentially doubled the facility in size. The addition they put on the back of the building really provided a lot more space. I know we used to have our weight rooms in like 12 by 12 spaces, it seemed like. But now with the renovation, we're able to put over 40 some pieces of strength equipment on the bottom floor. We were able to keep our 3-lane lap pool back in the aquatics area, 2 brand new racquetball courts that are state of the art. And by doing that, it gave us access to 2 gymnasiums now. One with a hardwood floor, one with a sport court floor. The big addition and the prized possession, I think, of the facility at the time was our 33-foot climbing wall that was put in, and the big glass window that as you walk by on 3rd Street, you can look in and see people climbing, but you can also look out when you're on the wall. And we added a indoor walking track. It's a 1/16 of a mile. So in our nice cold winters that we have here, you can still come in, get a nice run in. And our track also houses our spin classes, which is our most important group fitness class. But we really expanded the building. Everything kind of has its own space now, and we were able to put a lot more equipment in there, which in fact we just upgraded all of our cardio equipment last year. So all of our equipment in the cardio floor is no more than a year or two old.
And one of the coolest things with the renovation is just the floor plan. It doesn't feel like you're in rooms. It's kind of an open floor plan. And you mentioned about the windows. It's always nice to drive down whenever I leave campus towards the rock wall and see people climbing or running through. But it's just a wonderful facility, and it must be a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Not heartbreaking, but a little bit tough not to go in there and walk down through campus and see people using it right now.
Yeah. I think, Rec Services, we're hands-on. We want you to come and use our facility. We want to provide opportunities for you. And I think that's the most disheartening thing about all this is we are going to try and launch some things virtually, with classes and different things like that. But a lot of our stuff is hands-on. So we're itching to get back on campus and have our students and our members come back to the facility.
I'll bring Terry back in. He's been sitting there, and I think this is a good thing to ask you. Like, what are some of because I've seen about 1,000 emails that we've all seen in the past couple weeks, because that's the main way of communicating now, that in Zoom. But what are some of the activities and things that you and your staff are kind of going towards now with students being everywhere back at home right now, trying to keep them engaged?
So as Jameson said, a lot of virtual stuff. So that's been the biggest adjustment because we are so hands-on. We are used to being so close to the students. So we're trying to build out some classes that we can host, maybe on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, in addition to giving, especially those members who crave that routine, getting something out there for them, that are targeting certain muscle groups to kind of keep them active and keep them busy. Because we realize a lot of people are in the same situation and working remotely, and it's kind of easy to fall into that trap where you're not being active, you're sitting in a chair all day. And it was nice for a lot of students, to come by between classes, after classes, or other members to, come by on their lunch after work. So trying to get stuff built out and create content for them. We're hoping to have some things here soon.
And now I'm going to ask the easy question because we're coming to the end of this first segment here. We got a couple more minutes, but if I'm a student at Cal U, and we're going to say in the fall of 2020, coming back up, and hopefully everything's back to normal, what is the process for me to be able to utilize? We'll start first with Hair and Rec and Fitness, and then maybe talk a little bit about some of the other stuff, like how do I become involved in club sports and things of that nature. But Jameson, how, just as a student fresh off the bus from Hiller, PA, how do I gain access to the programs of Hair and Rec and Fitness?
So to get into our facility, you'll need your Cal card. Everybody swipes in, and the fee is actually placed on your account automatically as long as you have at least one class on campus. So if you're taking all online classes, you're not automatically charged the fee, but you can come and purchase a membership for the same price that a student would pay if they were automatically charged the fee. Once you get into our facility, everything's included. So that's taking our group fitness classes. If you want to rent a racquetball and a racket to play racquetball with your friends, you want to run a basketball, you want some strength equipment, you need, you want to take some stuff for disc golf and go play disc golf. I know that's a favorite of yours. We have all of that equipment at the front desk, and it's all free. It's included. Our classes, the pool, everything. It's kind of a one-stop shop. So you come in, you swipe your card, and you're in. The other thing it opens up is your outdoor rec adventures that Terry was talking about. You're a member of the facility. As a student, you're eligible for those events.
And Terry, with the outdoor rec opportunities, what are some of the ones that you mentioned? Some of the ones we've done in the past, but what are some of the ones that maybe you're thinking about or have been brought up, or is anything exciting going along in those fronts?
Definitely kayaking again this fall, if we can. That remains very popular. Students really like to do it along the Monraid here. Looking into hopefully some opportunities to take them into the city and do kayaking then, or there rather. We're hopefully going to be able to provide some zip lining opportunities in the fall as well. And there's a few other things in the works that we're still planning at this time. But again, the students have been really receptive, and I always encourage them to share ideas with me, because that's a lot of times, they are going to know better than I am, what's popular, what's trending, and things of that nature. And that's how some things in the past have come up, such as axe throwing, and things of that nature.
And Jameson, before we leave, if I'm at home and I'm a student, are there any social media platforms, or how do I stay remotely engaged with you and your department during this uncertain time, but also be moving forward to get ready to hopefully start back up on a normal schedule whenever that is?
So one thing I want to mention, Gary, is the 14 sports clubs. A lot
Excellent.
of them all have their own social media platforms as well, and you can find information on our website at the calu.edu website. You can search sports clubs. There's an interested student form there you can fill out. All of our 14 sports clubs come up. You can submit your name and some contact information, and myself and the club will be in contact with you. A big thing about our sports clubs, within the last 10 or so years, we've had 2 national championships come through in ice hockey and cheerleading. In the last couple years, we've made national tournament appearances in archery, cheerleading, hockey, men's and women's rugby, baseball went to the World Series. So our sports clubs are very competitive. Most of them are in leagues with other universities and colleges. They travel, like I said, within the region and on a national level, and they're all very successful. The key difference there, they're not the time commitment that maybe an NCAA sport would require, but we're still competitive. A lot of these clubs have coaches, and they compete just as hard as an NCAA athlete would. So you can find information for all of them on our website and through our social media platforms. But we're on Facebook, Twitter. Just search Cal Rec Services. You'll find us on all that. And as Terry mentioned, you'll see a lot of updates coming, especially our YouTube channel with some group fitness classes.
And guys, thank you for taking a few minutes. And we're going to take a commercial break. And after the break, we're going to bring Terry back on with Tom Hasbrook to talk about some other aspects that are going on in the world of rec services. So we'll be right back after these messages. You're watching Cal U Connections right here on CUTV and CUTV Sports 1.
Colin, what's wrong, man?
I just don't know how my family back home in Millersburg, Pennsylvania can watch our stuff down here.
Well, they could follow us on Twitter, or they could like us on Facebook.
Yeah, but what about our sports? How can they watch those?
They could watch it live on our YouTube channel.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
And welcome back to Cal U Connections. Once again, I'm your host, Gary Smith, and joining us once again is Terry Carthen. And Terry, again, gold star for the internet in Ritchieville, and we're going to bring on your good friend and my good friend, and his internet, or somewhere. So he has a still frame because it's a little cloudy. But we have our good friend Tom Hasbrook. And Tom, welcome to the show. And how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
And it's great to have you here. And as I told you off camera, the headshot we used to you, because you haven't seen it yet, is you holding a puppy. So a lot of people are going to go all right now. So before we go back into the show, we'll give all the people a chance to say ah. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, they've had their time. So Tom, how are you doing in this little bit of a delay to our regular routine?
I would say it's defining a new norm. Learning how to operate husband, being a full-time employee, and a full-time dad in the same roof. So that's kind of navigating that. But it's doable, and you have to do what you have to do in certain circumstances. And we're in a unique circumstance, so you make do with what you have.
And I had the pleasure of talking to your wife earlier on a different show, and I kind of had to kid her a little bit. She's in a house with 3 guys right now, so I hope you guys are on your best behavior helping her out.
Of course not, but
yeah, she may or may not have emailed me separately just to make sure that say, hey, make sure Tom's taking care of behaving because like I said, 3 boys in the house, that's got to be tough. But before we get into more of the show, Terry, we talked just a little bit with you and Jameson, and we were talking off camera. There's a few things you wanted to cover with outdoor rec, so let's take a chance and go back and just fill in what we need to fill in with outdoor rec.
Yeah, one of the other activities I meant to mention earlier that we'll be offering in the fall is horseback riding. We're excited to do that. It's something different we haven't offered before, so we're excited to see students enjoy that. And typically, to sign up for an outdoor rec event, you would just go to the front desk in Herring Rec and Fitness Center. And like Jameson has said, if you're a student member, you're able to sign up right there. And typically, we do provide transportation for the activities, as some of them do take place off campus. So you don't have to worry about driving yourself or anything like that.
And I tell you what, that sounds really cool. If I wasn't terrified of getting on a horse, I would probably. The two things you've said so far that have probably been the most interesting: the horseback riding and the skydiving. You're on your own because I'm terrified of heights, and I had an incident with a horse when I was like 5 years old. So you're on your own, but I wouldn't mind hearing about it whenever it's done. Now, Tom, let's bring you back in, and what I've asked Jameson and Terry to do in the beginning. Just explain your connection with Cal U from little Tom to now in your professional life.
So I was sent down Texas. My dad worked at the university, so before my earliest recollection, I remember going to Jim Boone basketball game in Hammer Hall, and when you're going for a national championship in the Final Four, and those players. Then, as I transitioned into my teenage years, I would help my dad envelopes and with stamps and mailing packages. I worked in the office at that time, so always living Cal, working at Cal. Went to school for my first for Cal. Went on a national exchange program. Went out to San Jose State out in California, and I worked with the San Jose Sharks out there. After that, I left to Buffalo and worked with the Buffalo Bills for a summer. Came back and had my bachelor's from Cal in sports management and psychology, and I completed then 2 more years. I completed 2 more masters at Cal, so I have all my degrees from Cal. And then I started in alumni relations, worked there for a year, then transitioned over to campus recreation, and that's where I've been since 2009.
And it's been great to have you part of the Cal U community. And you said Jim Boone brought a smile to my face because I remember going to those games when I was in high school and seeing that place filled. So obviously the connection here is if there are students on campus, they say, we don't know what Tom looks like, we don't know what Terry looks like, then I'm doubting that they're at Cal U because you guys are two of the more familiar faces here at Cal U. And let's transition a little bit to some of the exciting things that you guys have been doing and looking forward to doing. And one of the things that we've been seeing a lot on TV and in the world now, since there's no sports in the world per se, but esports, that's something that's only going to be growing. If Tom, if you'd like to talk a little bit about like just the genesis and where that program might go and what that might look like in the near future.
So there's a trend of time that students have made the transition from outdoor traditional sports to now the online game field. So esports is blowing up across the nation. If you look at most universities, they entertain some type of esports component in their curricula. There's majors, there's athletic scholarships to esports. So it's a growing trend, and in the billions of dollars. And I think he has noticed that almost a promise that we're going to provide them some type of esports initiative and opportunity, if not in their very future.
And that's excellent to hear, because I know some of my students at the media center, they're online playing games, different games. They and try and include me, but they've I think they like beating up on the boss because I've taken my lumps in Fortnite and also MLB The Show and Madden. So I usually just try and say that I'm busy whenever you guys want to jump online and play. But what are some of the games, or what are some of the hot buttons that students are asking for online tournaments and online gaming?
So right now we're making a push during this quarantine initiative that online games. So right now registration open for NBA 2K, NHL 20, and I'll show. And then what we're doing is taking winners from our tournaments and working into a statewide tournament playing against other universities winners. So there's a statewide tournament to our local tournament. So
awesome, and that's something that's great. That in the way this new normal is, that they can still be connected, and the fact that they can move on and compete and connect against students at other universities in the state is awesome. Now let's talk a little bit about going back to like the traditional quote unquote intramural sports. What are some of the intramural sports that your department offers? Because I know I get emails on the IM leagues all the time, so I know there's a lot of activities and a lot of leagues out there. So if you just want to touch on what some of the traditional intramural sports are, then that would be the time.
So our sports, we have almost 4 seasons throughout the year. We have a fall indoor season, a winter season, and then an outdoor spring season. Our major sports that get the most popularity and interest are the traditional Western PA flag football games. 5-on-5 baseball, 3-on-3 basketball, and then softball. I would say our big fours. Those are leagues that span about 6 weeks, and then throughout this semester we'll have one-day Tuesday tournaments for pickleball, dodgeball, racquetball. In total, we have 30 intramural sports that are run throughout the duration of the semester. You'll find something for you. It might be a chess tournament here, it might be a trivia tournament. So it's not that you have to be physically fit to play. These are campus recreation is the holistic part of an individual. So we focus on cerebral as well as the physical.
Well, and it's easy to get involved too. I think that sometimes people might think, oh, there's all these barriers, but it's not. There's no barriers. It's really, you have your Cal card and you get involved. But if there's any more steps, since we're going to be using these programs for the online open houses and things of that nature, if I'm a new student in the fall of 2021 and I want to get involved in a flag football league, how would I go about doing that?
So the unique thing about our IM platform is when you go on, it's essentially run by the students. So you can create your own team, and we have a free agent listing that you go on to actually get players that haven't found a team yet. So you can go at your team that way. Or you can go on and the team's looking for players, so you can jump on their team. Or you can become a free agent yourself, and then hopefully a team who's looking for a player to pick you up. So even if you don't have enough interest within your subsection, you can join and still play the game and meet new friends and new connections.
And if you're a student out there that kind of wants to see what it's all about, a couple of our students at the media area with CUTV a few years ago competed in the 3-on-3 league, and I think it was in the recreational division and won. And one of our students, talented students, Devin Garina, produced a 20-minute documentary. So go on CUTV Sports 1 and look at that, because that just kind of shows the fun that and the competition that it's had. Because I know I've seen some of our students that have come back after an intramural game, and if they've won, you can tell that they're as happy as can be, and then if they've lost to a rival, that they're just disconsolate. So I think it's wonderful seeing just the amount of activities that you and your staff provide, because I mean that's college is a place to learn, not only like you said, cerebrally, but also to kind of test your athletics and also just meet new people.
Oh, absolutely. I've been invited to friends' weddings and seen staff get married to other staff. It's not just the typical intramural walls. It's a lifetime commitment and lifetime friendships that are fostered from the students.
And Terry, we're going to bring you on here. I gave you a few minutes to see if you could find a puppy to get to bring in the screen. You have not, so Tom's going to win the puppy bowl for today and the screenshots. But what are some of the other things that you and your staff are doing on that? And I know we talked a little bit about YouTube initiatives and things of that nature. So what exactly are you and your department looking to do on the old YouTube?
So we're looking to build out content. And it was stuff we were kind of working on before. It was one of those projects that was on the back burner that we try to work on during the semester, but it's difficult to do with everything going on. And the silver lining of this has been we've had more opportunity to kind of build that content out, start hosting, virtual, hopefully workout classes on YouTube, or just little tips and tricks on proper form, the different exercises and things like this, because we do get a lot of questions, and we do realize we have members that come into the facility that may not have lifted before, and they can be intimidated just because they haven't, and they're afraid to ask those questions. And even though we offer that welcoming feeling, sometimes it's still difficult for members to articulate, their needs or what they have. So giving them this platform is hopefully going to bridge that gap, so they feel more comfortable, they feel more confident, in staying active and promoting that healthy lifestyle.
And that's one of the themes that throughout this entire Caillou Connection series has been that the attention to the student from the beginning, maybe as a novice, to the end, whenever they finally figure things out and can do things on their own. I mean, you're not just going to let someone in and say, "Oh, have fun, good luck. I hope you don't drop a weight on your foot." But it's just nice to know that you and your staff during this time, and also, when this time is over, are going to be there to help assist the students to make their time here at Caillou more enriched.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's something we really enjoy doing. It's something we miss doing hands-on, as we talked about before. But again, this is a nice opportunity for us to still add to those students' lives and those members' lives, hopefully, to encourage them to stay active, hopefully stay in some sort of routine. And we're really looking forward to seeing what we can do with it as we progress here.
Now we have a few minutes left, and I'll bring Tom back on. And Tom, we were talking a little bit about intramurals and the esports. As a fan, or as a professional, what is probably, you mentioned the big four, quote unquote, sports that your department does for the intramurals, but what's probably your favorite? If you had to lace up the shoes one more time, what would you go out there and participate in?
So a couple of years ago, we actually had a staff team that played in the flag football league. We were named ourselves the staff team. And it was a great, from that actually developed good working relations with other staff members. It was just nice to compete with the students. We won a couple of games, we lost a little bit. But it was fun. I could probably still teach you probably one half. Not much more of that, but we did that a couple of years ago.
And Terry, we'll bring you in. If you had to lace up the shoes again, what would be the sport you would sign up for intramurals? Or outdoor? What would be basketball? But what's the thing you're looking forward to with the outdoor rec stuff? What are you jumping out of a plane? Are you riding a horse? You're going to swim to Newell, which may or may not be a thing that I'm just saying it can happen. I mean, Newell's just 80 feet across the river. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I've always considered swimming to be kind of my weakest of sports. I'm not a strong swimmer. I can swim, but anything extended, it's sketchy. But basketball, I have a lot of experience playing and coaching that, so I really enjoy doing that. My body has started to train me a little bit, and that I need much more time to recover. Got some aches and pains when I do lace them up. As far as outdoor rec, I do enjoy kayaking. It's just very peaceful. You kind of go at your own pace, especially on the Mon. It's not, a very fast river, and especially when the weather's nice, you kind of just feel the sun hit you, and it's very relaxing, very peaceful.
And I'd have to agree with that. I had the chance a few years ago with a friend of mine to do some kayaking down near the point in Pittsburgh, and it was just amazing just to see. If you turn one way, you see the wilderness, and then you turn the other way, you see this beautiful urban area of Pittsburgh. And then later on that, 2 days later, I couldn't move my arms because I was out of shape. But I'd have to agree with you with kayaking. But before we go, guys, one of the things we've been trying to talk about when I give out the links and I'll put those on the screen right now. For more information about anything campus related, CUTV, follow our Facebook, California University Television. Our Twitter is at CUTV_PA. Our friends at the newspaper at Cal Times, that's their Twitter. And then our friends at the radio station 91.9 FM WCAL, they have launched a collaborative Spotify. And Tom, we're going to bring you on first. What would be the song right now that you would add to that collaborative playlist for the world to say, yeah, if I hear that song, like, yeah, that reminds me of Tom Hasbrook. I know Tom added that. So what's the song you would put on?
We lost Tom. I just got an email from.
We lost Tom, so he's off the hot seat with that. We'll make up a song for him. We'll say Monster Mash is the song he put on. But Terry, what is the song that you would put on?
Go-to song?
Yeah, right now.
Ooh, that's a good question. Trying to think what I've been listening to lately. Kind of put me on the spot here. Maybe some something by Billy Joel. I've been listening to a lot of that lately. River of Dreams, maybe.
Okay, and it's funny because everyone that I ask the question to, it's like, oh man, that's like the hardest question. But like I said, I know with my playlist, it's gone all over from 60s R&B to some 90s rap to some alternative to some experimental stuff by Fish and Blue Man Group. So if you see any weird stuff on the playlist, definitely that's me. So Terry, we're finishing up. Is there anything you'd like to add to the conversation? Like I said, I think we covered a lot, and obviously you guys in rec services and everything do a great job of keeping the students active.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I just, want to encourage all the students, go out, get involved. College is the time to explore, figure out what you like. Don't be afraid to, I don't want to say necessarily make mistakes, but, try things that you didn't think you like. And, there's no harm if you don't like it. It's a great opportunity to grow as not just a student and a person, but also, gain those valuable skills that you can use in the professional world. And Kyle has let me do that in so many different ways. And I'm very thankful for having those opportunities to work with those people and to be provided those opportunities on campus.
And I'd like to reiterate that, like, if you're a student, definitely get involved, because the staff over there is welcoming, and they're going to make sure that you guys and girls have a great experience at Cal U with rec services. And there's a wealth of things. If there's something they don't offer, either A, you can maybe join their staff to help offer it, or B, I think you'd have to go a far way down the list, Terry, to find something that you guys don't offer, or at least have background in. So thanks for being on the show with us today. And for Tom Hasbrook and Jameson Roth and Terry Carthorne, this is Gary Smith saying we'll see you next time on Cal U Connections.
All right, thanks, Gary.